Joining me now from Capitol Hill, Republican Congressman from Tennessee and House Budget Committee Chair Diane Black. It's not in the House right now, Congressman, so tell me, will it be, or are you just waiting on the Senate to see if they can get it through?
We're moving forward on what our plan is, and of course our plan did not have that included in it, but the Senate will do what the Senate is going to do. Now look, you all know that we were able to pass a repeal and replace out of the House some months ago. The Senate was not able to do that. We're fully in support of the repeal of the individual mandate. This is going to give people an opportunity to say, here's what I want, here's what the insurance coverage is that I can afford, and then let the marketplace work. And so we're fully and have been fully in favor of repealing the individual mandate. It's hurting people so badly in my state. So we're going to let the Senate do their thing. We are moving forward, as you have already indicated, with our plan, and we'll be voting on it tomorrow afternoon by about 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Well, you know, there have been several failed attempts earlier this year, as you know, and as you've referenced, to pass this repeal and replace of Obamacare. I'm just wondering, does anybody look further down the road and see that that might mean a lot of people won't buy insurance because they don't have to, there isn't the mandate, so they'll wait till their worst and most expensive moment where they are the sickest, show up on the hospital doorstep, and once again, you and I will have to pay for their health care.
So you know what's really interesting, and we don't hear this talked about very often, but even when the mandates were in place, both the employer and the individual as they are right now, there are 20 million Americans who've decided not to get insurance and to pay the penalty. When they pay the penalty, they don't have insurance. They can show up on a doorstep, as you say, but they want the option. They want the option to do that, so they either decide or not to.
I don't want them to have the option to do that, because then who pays for it? My dad was a surgeon, and I know you're part of the GOP caucus for Doctors Caucus, because as a registered nurse, you know all about this. My dad said, Liz, these people showed up on the hospital doorsteps. We cannot and will not turn them away, so costs have to go up for everybody else to cover them.
But here's what we know is if you allow the market to work, which I want to give you an example of that. Back in my own state of Tennessee, State Farm, Farm Bureau, have plans. They had plans before Obamacare came into place that people liked. People could afford it. It gave them what they wanted. And when Obamacare came into place, they said, well, look, you don't do everything we want you to do, therefore you can't use that plan. It was a plan they liked, plan they could afford. And so they decided that if Farm Bureau would keep those products, that they would be willing to pay the penalty and to keep the product that they could afford that they liked. And that's an example of how the market can work. And the market has not worked underneath of what we're doing right now. Again, 20 million people decided to pay either get an exemption or to pay that penalty and not be insured.
I remember. Congressman, before we go, the vote is supposed to happen in the full House at some point today. Can I get your promise on that? Do you think that will happen sometime today?
Well, the vote on our plan, on our tax plan, will happen tomorrow. It will happen tomorrow about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and every indication that we have, and I'm on the team and talking with folks, is that we do have that support and that we're going to be successful in passing our plan that's going to help the American people. They're the real winner, especially those in the middle income.
Congressman Diane Black, thank you very much. We do appreciate it.